All right, this is the heel block. This is the piece of wood that the dovetail would be cut out of to join the neck to the body. I call it a heel block. Some people call it a head block. And there's a couple other names people use, but I call it a heel block because I cut the dovetail in the heel of the neck and connect it here. So whatever. What I want is I want the guitar to be 5 inches deep finished at the tail block, which is this. The head block or the heel block needs an angle in it, because what I will do is I will cut the sides to the 4 and 13/16. And the reason is that it's the height of the tail block, because the top and the back are around 1/8 of an inch thick. They're actually thinner. I make my instruments thinner. I have made a conscious decision to make my instruments a little bit thinner than what a factory would do. And the standard factory, according to the plans, they want 110 thousandths of an inch for the top, and I don't know, a little bit less, 2.8 millimeters for the top and 2.5 millimeters for the back. But I will be shooting for a final thickness in the top of 100 thousandths of an inch. I'm going to drop 10 thousandths off of it. I believe that a lighter instrument will sound better because it will resonate more. All of the really nice sounding guitars that I have played have been so light that I was scared to handle them because I thought I would break them. And so I'm aiming for light in my build. Now I have maple back inside, so it's not going to be as light as something like mahogany. But I'm aiming for as light as I can get. And this angle, when I cut the sides to height, I'll come from the heel block to what would basically be the center of the guitar body, the center of its length, and I will cut an angle down to the heel block. And then I will use a flat sanding plate that's about 22 inches wide by 22 inches long, or 24 inches long, with sandpaper on it, and I'll move it back and forth across the top, and that will create an arch in the back. And I need this angle to fit the arch. So if you look, it's not much of an angle. So what I'm going to do, because of that, is I could cut this, and this is, let me see how much this is. This is, I forget, I marked it already, but I forgot the height that I cut it to. This is a little less than, this is 3 14/16 tall. Remember, I am allowing for the thickness of back and top, so I want my guitar to be around 4 inches at the heel end of the body. And I will cut this later to a particular size as well. But what I want to do now, I could cut that with this saw, but it's a very small section of wood. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this to the side. I'm going to take my hand plane, move all this out of the way. What I'm going to do is I'm kind of eyeball that. And I'm just going to cut this, or carve this down, however you want to call it. With my hand plane. I've got it set quite low. I'm gonna deepen it, the cut just a bit. That's close enough. I'm going to try to, there's a slight little hump right here that I'm going to get rid of. Beautiful. That's what I want. All right. Now, this heel block, this is the front, and it'll angle up like that toward the back. So what I want to do is I want to put a little bit of, I don't know if I can do it without busting out the side, but what I want to do, let me raise this up slightly. Put it toward the center of the, I just want to kind of round this, and I'm just going to use the plane to do it. It's nothing drastic. I just want it, I don't want like a square look to this. So I'm just going to turn that until I get like a rounded off corner. This one, this part, this side, this end needs a little more work, and so all I'm going to do is do that number. Until they both start looking about the same. And I'll do the same on this side. And I'm probably going to round just a little bit this bottom section. I'm not sure yet. I really don't need to do that. The top of the guitar will sit on this block, and the back of the guitar will glue to this block, and it'll be flat. So probably what I'm going to do is just break these corners so that they're not a sharp edge. That's pretty much all that I'm worried about on the heel block, or the heel block. That's pretty much it. So that's more like it. And of course, let me smooth this out. And of course, before I glue this to the sides of the guitar, it will be well sanded, that kind of deal. So now we're going to move on to the tail block. This is Honduran mahogany. This is spruce. I chose the spruce because it will have less weight in the tail block, and I'm not connecting the neck to it, so I don't need as much strength as this. And so what I want to do, this needs to stay flat. Okay, so if I want a finished depth of about 5 inches, then I want to take, you would think, 1/8 of an inch, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 4 13/16. I'm going to bring this to 4 1/4. I apologize for like the shadows coming across, but I am outdoors and I have a certain amount of time that I have to do, that I can do work in, and a lot of times it's in the part of the day when the light is its harshest, and because of that you get stuff like this. But I'm gonna split off a bit, but that is perfectly fine. That's split off along the grain because of the grain. That's not an issue. We will clean it up and make it right now. Yeah. What I'm doing, let me come to this side. Yeah, didn't tighten it up enough. I want to make sure that it's square. So it is square this way. I know that it is, but it is not square that way. So beautiful. That is the tail block, but the tail block doesn't need to be all of this. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to arbitrarily mark a line here along the entirety of the tail block. I don't need anything fancy. I just need something for my plane to follow. What I'm going to do, wait a minute. I'm not done yet. I'm going to mark that. And then what I'm going to do, so what I'm going to do now is come at a 45 to try not to tear anything out if I can. We'll see. good enough. I'll flatten that out. Okay, not the most perfect, but that will do for what I'm trying to do. Hopefully I did not get it. Well, actually, I don't have to worry about that. Never mind. This, so I want to kind of bring that in a bit more. So what I'm going to do is the same thing I've been doing. I'm just going to and I will sand that nice and clean and smooth and all of that before I glue up.